Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Ape 2. In the last part, we met and took care of Yellow Monkey after some more stages, and now it's time for us to go do the same in Canada.
Wow, it really does look like Canada. This is actually one of my favorite stages from 2.
I adore this series' ice levels to begin with because they do a good job at having like both real, actual slippery ice mechanics, but also just gorgeous visuals.
And it's like some of the houses here, it just kind of gives like a little really cozy feeling.
Yeah, like the PS2 was an interesting generation of consoles. I think that was 6th gen, where this was where I think games really started to hit a really good stride on art direction, where the best looking games from this era on art direction aspect, not like a realism aspect, still look good to this day. Like, yes, Wind Waker HD looks better than Wind Waker, but original Wind Waker probably still beats out most games.
Oh, definitely.
And this looks so good. Thankfully, there's also not a lot of instances where monkeys will take advantage of, like, burying themselves in the snow in this one. That's a little more of a thing in 3. Keep in mind this box to my right for later. It might be a source of annoyance. So, a little thing I was looking on, like, the Moby Games page, trying to see if, like, there's any notable, like, people who worked on this that are known for other projects. 2 particularly funny ones I found, at least from this first session. 2 of the programmers. One of them is Toshitake Tsuchikura, who was a lead system programmer for the Gravity Rush games. In fact, Gravity Rush 1 is the next game they're credited for after Ape 3. But they're also the lead programmer for the Demon Souls remake. But the funnier one to me is Takashi Ueshima, who was the main programmer for Sonic Labyrinth on the Game Gear. I know some people probably wouldn't put that on their resume, but I think I would proudly display that I have made the most un-Sonic game of all time.
Isn't that the one with Mighty and Ray in it as well?
That's Sega Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's it.
Labyrinth is the one where Sonic can't run fast because Eggman snuck into his house and put heavy shoes on him.
Dang.
Why he didn't capitalize on that opportunity otherwise, I don't know. Yeah, there are some occasional slippery gimmicks here. The main mechanic this stage actually adds is one in its latter third, where I brought up last time that the level design of this is a little more, not one note, but more typical in its design, where it's a lot more of a linear stuff. But every now and then you'll get a section like the end of this stage where you just get a giant big open room that they let you figure out your way around and can freely go about getting the monkeys within there. And this stage has one of those at the very end of it, and I love it.
Man, it's like, I think it kind of adds to the charm of the game, but God, Jimmy just has, like, a really big run.
He's putting every ounce of strength into every leg and arm movement.
To catch up with these monkeys, you kind of have to, I guess.
He may not be big of brain, but he's big of heart and run.
So that's where Sonic Labyrinth, that's where his speed went. It went to Jimmy.
Oh, it's all connected. Oh, these slime enemies are also pretty useful for grinding money, because I think these are the ones that do it. Some of them are the type that when you hit them, they'll split into smaller slimes, and then I think another set of smaller slimes from there. So if you take them all out, you can grab their drops for some pretty good cash pretty quickly.
There's a Santa monkey. I can see him.
Fatality.
Oh no! You ruined Christmas!
Get back, you fat man!
Monkey claws!
And coaling little Jimmy's stocking. So yeah, this is the really cool part of this level. We get our own little jet ski that we can drive around a little bit stiffly. To go and catch monkeys all over the place that are snowboarding across the various routes on this room. The controls for the jet ski are a little weird, though, in that if memory serves, you actively steer left and right with either the other analog stick, or it's like a little bit of a R-boat situation where if you hold both sticks forward, you move forward, but if you hold one like left or right, you'll turn on that axis. Mm-hmm. I think. I know they do that with a couple of vehicles in this, and vehicle sections in Ape Escape are probably the most hit or miss thing for it on the whole. But I know there's one that does that later this very part, even. Can't report that crime to the police. Ape Escape, when you look at it in a different way, is just Jimmy causing mass cruelty charges and covering them up as best as he can.
Mass kidnapping charges.
Ooh. Yeah, that does get into something. Actually, did we bring this up in part 1? I think I may have briefly touched on it. This is the second Ape Escape 2. The first Ape Escape 2 was a follow-up to the first one that still starred Spike, and you Luigi'd Mansioned monkeys' pants away from them. It's the only game in the main, like, set of games that I have not touched, because it was Japan only. And to this day, I'm still not sure as to why.
Stealing their pants feels a little...
Yeah, I guess that aspect of it is a little weird, huh?
It's a little iffy, compared to just capturing them with a net.
Jimmy, I'm sending this gadget to you.
The Sky Flyer makes towering heights irrelevant. Use the gadget trainer to learn how to fly like a bird. Do you want to go to the gadget trainer now?
Time for another one of my favorites. I love the Sky Flyer. You rotate the analog stick, you do a super high jump. You can do a double jump and then rotate the analog stick to lengthen your jump and fly across long distances. But if memory serves, like Ape Escape 1, you get more height out of it if you do it from the ground than a double jump. Is a little stiff here and there, but you're mostly going to be using this for height or distances, and thankfully never really both at once.
Mm-hmm.
Also, by the looks from the Gotcha Machine rolls a moment ago, I think this is the part in the LP where I start just outright cutting those out, just to save on time. The big thing to note otherwise is that I think Monkey Fables, you get them all in a row, like you'll get all of one in a row, but they do come out at random.
Piranhas?
I never saw that movie. I've seen a lot of weird monster flicks. That one I just looked at it and went, gimmicky.
Oh, and there's the red monkey. Kicking your butt.
Yep, reds are aggro. Despite what I said back in part 1 about Jimmy being more capable of catching monkeys than Spike due to him swinging horizontally here and there, it is still very easy for monkeys to dodge you and jump over you in a lot of instances. You might be more acrobatic, but so are they. Ow!
It's kind of like part of... It might be... it's kind of part of what I like visually. Is that, like when I talk about, like, the game's smoothness and stuff, like, they didn't have to put all that effort into, like, the acrobatics of the characters. But they do. And it's really neat.
They could have just done so it's like a little side dodge, but no, they go like flipping over you in some cases and doing jumps, and it flows together really well, even though there is the occasional instances, like I think I usually have happened with this particular monkey, where they just dodge you for like 30 minutes in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Ow. Come back here, you little... I want to say there are some monkeys that distinctly try to flee from you by jumping into water more often to try and take any route they can, but some try to stay in more specific areas. Like some of them might stick on little islands like this to stick to areas they can use their abilities better. It depends on the monkey, though, on the whole. I did not mean to talk to you, Natalie. I'm sorry.
And she's just telling you, hey, Red monkeys suck.
Yeah. This is the time where we can finally talk about this a little bit, though, because it's the first time you can really take good advantage of it. By holding down on the left stick, you crouch down on the ground, and you can then crawl from there to get whatever done. But if you hold down both analog sticks, you curl up in a ball and play dead, and that is a way to get around monkeys seeing you, because, I brought up this is technically a stealth game, but I haven't talked about the actual stealth mechanics. When a monkey's people helmet's light is blue, they have not seen you, they're completely aloof. They don't know what's up. If they're yellow, they suspect or have heard things, and will investigate briefly by, like, looking around. But if they're red, they see you, and they are either, well, they're in fight or flight, just literally.
Exactly. And you'll notice, like, I'm sure you've noticed in the last boss fights, obviously because they're boss fights, they don't really work the same way, but they actually act as health indicators.
I actively have never noticed that.
Because, like, usually, well, yeah, because they'll start off as blue, and then they'll just decreasingly, the more you hit them, the more they'll change color. And then when you finally get to red, that usually means they have one hit left.
I've never noticed that. What?
I noticed that more in the yellow monkey fight, to be honest.
You're blowing my mind here, ironically. Whoa. I mean, I guess I was always more focused on dodging anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's an easy to miss thing.
Huh. This stage, though, this is one of the ones I was talking about a little bit ago, where there's a linear path to start for, like, the first, like, equivalent of, like, a screen on a Super Nintendo Genesis era game. But after that, you have a couple choices where you can go, and they're both little, like, one-way paths that loop around back to this room eventually. It's really up to player choice which way you want to go. There are some paths that probably have faster monkeys to get, but usually it doesn't really matter. But we do have our first other vehicle here, though, the returning raft from the first game. Each ore is a different analog stick. Rotate both at the same time to move forward. Rotating them at different rates turns you, and it doesn't feel great. As you can see me struggling.
Also, is that boat rubber? Because I just feel like the piranhas would bite that and pop it.
Yeah. And then you gotta move at triple speed. As you're flailing out of control, screaming, "Ah!" By and large, Ape Escape 1's difficulty curve is pretty easy to... Ape Escape 2's difficulty, rather, is pretty easy to pick up and play. I think it is overall easier than Ape Escape 1. But I think a lot of that comes down to the smoothed out control and level design a lot of the time.
Aw, that monkey's cheering you on, and now you capture him.
A fan! Good. Ape Escape 3 would make that an actual mechanic.
Yes, they did.
I would love to have them bring that back, though. I'm really surprised they have not tried to at least do, like, a remake of Ape Escape 1 at this point.
They sort of did, which was the PSP one?
Yeah, that one was weird.
Yeah. That one, I remember, was a sort of remake of one, but I honestly don't remember anything about it. I only played a little bit.
From what I remember messing around with that, it's a harder remake of one in that you only have access to 3 gadgets at a time because the X button is how you, I think, entered your swing mode, so to speak.
Jimmy, I'm sending a new gadget. I hope this helps you.
The Bananarang attracts monkeys with its powerful aroma. A bit of training in the Gadget Trainer, and you'll be the Pied Piper of the jungle. Do you want to go to the Gadget Trainer now?
Our first new tool for Ape Escape 2 is the Bananarang, which you pull back on the analog stick and let loose, and it travels forward and can be used to attack enemies. But if you continuously rotate the analog stick once it's been thrown, it will let out the musk of a banana, I guess, and attract any given monkeys nearby. I do believe monkeys will not be attracted to it if they've already seen you and are aggroed, but you can use this to lead them onto switches, to get them out of areas that you can't get into as Jimmy otherwise. It's a neat tool, but it actively gets into a problem I have with 2 compared to 1 that we'll talk about more later on the whole.
Oh, I love the music in this one.
Here I come! Oh no! Somehow Pippichi disappeared when I wasn't looking. I think he used the transporter to try to send himself back to you, Jimmy.
Jimmy, Pippochi is lost out there somewhere. I'm sorry, my boy. Your mission is even more difficult now. Listen,
I'm
you'll
taking
have
him back to
search
the
for
lab.
Pippochi
He'll be
while
much
you're
safer
catching
there.
the monkeys.
God damn it, Professor.
I'm worried about Pippichi too, but you have to catch the monkeys first. We're counting on you.
Ah, great.
Pippichi now!
Beg, pathetic sand monkey.
Yep. Doesn't even try to bury itself in the sand, take itself out of the sand.
So, I guess I can get into it a little bit now. The new tools they add in Ape Escape 2, on the whole, like, yeah, we have a couple left to get. They're interesting tools, but a lot of them kind of end up feeling more like they're keys to a door rather than useful tools in the long run, I guess is the way I want to phrase it.
Agreed.
Because, like, the banana ring itself, for instance, yes, it can attract monkeys and you can use it to attack enemies, but there's a lot of enemies like the monkeys, like the one that actually is in that treehouse up on the top right of the screen right now, you can only get by just using the banana rang's aroma feature. And that means it's an extra case where you just have to swap over, use the banana rang, probably swap back to something else, and then move on from there. Ape Escape 3 would smooth this idea out by having its new tools both be their own attack and net at the same time and have platforming utility that none of the other tools would. And they were smart for that in comparison to 2.
Because for the most part, you can get through these stages without, like, half the tools. Like even going back to capture some of the monkeys. It's like, you don't really... It's fun, the gadgets are fun to have, but it's like, you don't really need them.
Yeah, like the ones you're always going to need, the net, of course, and attack one to try to stun the monkeys in case they're trying to flee. But then, like, the others, for the most part, barring instances like this where you need the banana rang, you're probably going to be fine if you just have, like, the super hoop and the sky flyer equipped, because that'll give you all the platform utility you need on top of the ability to catch most monkeys.
3 also changed that up in that regard, where, like, some of the monkeys were specifically hidden in different areas that you needed not just tools to get to.
It's one of those things where they tried to iterate on the previous game's ideas, and they definitely succeeded in iterating it. It's just that the iteration, I guess the way I want to phrase this is, feels detrimental to what the uses of the other abilities already are. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hello, little monkey.
Got you with the pants down, Suze. I'm Mabel. I'm an Ape Escape. Yeah, I guess that's also something we haven't talked about. There was a whole ass Ape Escape anime.
Yeah, so that was a very interesting thing, and it still has not been fully subbed to this day.
Yeah, I know that feeling. The Mega Man EXE anime, I think, only got fully subbed by fans within the later 2010s, if not early 2020s. Boss number 3 time.
The only girl of the Freaky Monkey 5.
Let's go!
Hey, mister. You came all this way just to watch my show? Oh, thanks so much. I'm just so happy that all of you lovely people out there have come to see my very first premiere performance.
Well, that's not really why
In order to thank everybody, I'd like to sing my debut single. Thank you. No escape!
This boss fight's a little weird. In that it's one of the few that's multi-phased. Because starting off, you gotta platform on these flowers, get over to her, and then bonk her on the head, and then you just kind of get blasted off by the speakers, and you gotta do that again. I think the platforms actively can be destroyed either by the bomb enemies on them, or if you're on them for too long. But it's not really that big of a deal. If you get hit by her attack, you get confused for a second, and then you just kind of waggle the analog stick to get your senses back. One of the few regional differences I'm aware of is that little broadcast in the bottom right had Japanese text on it, in the Japanese version, I think.
How dare you do this to me? I've been looking forward to doing this debut for so long! What gives you the right to ruin a monkey's dream? Do you have something against pop stars? Is that it? Yes, it must be that. You're just jealous that Pink is becoming famous and you aren't! There's no turning back now. This is my final test to become a star. Okay, I'm ready for you! Whoa!
So welcome to phase 2 of Pink Monkey.
You didn't think they were gonna get through all this without some sort of Super Saiyan joke word, did you? So, this phase is a little iffy. Like, her main attack is throwing the bombs at you, and after a while, you can jump on the platform and walk up to her. But the jump up to that platform itself is weirdly strict with or without the Skyflyer. She can throw enemies at you outright, she can throw little lasers across, but if you try to jump up there too early, you do just get hit. Afterwards, you can just jump up there, she'll throw some projectiles at you, but you still got a bonker on the noggin. Just that now she's a little more active in dodging you.
It has very scary sparkle eyes.
It's the opposite of, you know the anime uwu eyes that are all sparkly? This is the angry uwu eyes.
Uh-huh.
I think this was the fight that gave me the most trouble out of the main 5 as a kid, if only because it required me to use patience, which young me was not keen on. This is the kid that ran from every random battle in every RPG he played and wondered why he had such difficulty with boss fights. The Chocola Woods fight in Superstar Saga, complete nightmare to kid me.
There we go.
3 bosses down, Freaky Monkey 5, although 1 did escape. 2 to go. I guess technically still 3.
I'm sure Yellow's elsewhere.
Becoming a monk to learn his issues.
I'm worried. Just where could Pippachi be?
Well, on the aspect of this being a platformer, probably one of the future levels.
Most likely. Most likely.
Call it a hunch.
But hopefully we will find the little guy next episode.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. And in part 5, more stages. And I think this is really where the length starts to kick in.